I felt like this was one of the most important days that I've lived through because I was able to share my own opinions and hear other people's opinions about problem that we all share.
This year's theme is representation and film.
We did a debate with different questions about Untold histories, racism and gender representation.
We as humans are made of the movies and films that we watch as kids.
You can tell when the media is trying to have a little undertone of racism.
No one is born racist, no one is born prejudiced, no one is born stereotyping people. You're just born as you are.
I don't think we're listening enough. We can do stuff. We can make stuff and give a new view of everything.
This summit is part of the European Film Club and a part of the Young Audience Award, all under the umbrella of the European Film Academy, and it's co-hosted by us, the Youth Council. 10 minutes before we let everyone in. It's all kicking in right now.
Don't worry, it's going to be great.
We have different sets in here.
Recording in progress.
I just want to say hello to everyone.
It's getting serious because we're going to dive into a really important topic.
Last year during the summit, Thomas brought up the idea of representation and how it's showcased and how it affects the youth.
For example, when I was a kid, I didn't see any kind of LGBTQA plus presentation. It was hard to me to understand that there were people like me, for example, because I'm part of the communities.
From that, they felt like this is a bigger topic.
It feels like I kind of have to either cut myself off from my Indian culture to be fully accepted. Because I'm half Indian, for Indian people, I'll never be Indian enough. I'm the British girl, I don't speak any Bengali or anything. But then to my friends at school, they're always oh, she's a different culture, she's a bit different to us. But I feel just as British as them. That's why sometimes, if I see someone a bit like me in films, it can feel very nice, oh, they're kind of in the middle like me.
Most people I know are visual learners, and when you're at a young age, your brain is still developing. It's very important to get these ideas that everyone is equal, that you can find somebody like you when watching.
Abu! Abu! Abu!
Sajan.
Abu! Get everyone together and they're rounding people up, man. It's happening. It's happening now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Does anyone else have any views about their country that they want to share and their culture?
So I know that there will be some things in your school that you may not be getting told and you wish to be getting told. And I wondered, why do you think these stories are not told?
Most of the people don't put history's bad side in the history books, and they don't teach it at schools.
It's also the problem because usually the winner is the one who writes the history. So that's a problem too.
What I'm looking at especially is racism in movies and also how people are represented.
So I think that in the world there are a lot of untold stories about things that create shame. But why? And I'm really proud that there are lots of people and lots of teenagers that I'm meeting today that do not have the shame of talk about these things that schools sometimes forget.
With representation, it was becoming kind of a tick box and people didn't like that.
I don't think that they should include people of color or queer people just because of representation. I mean, I don't think they should include them because it's become a thing that you sort of have to include them. I think it should be just something that's naturally included.
We try to get their perspectives, different perspectives, and give everyone a chance to talk. But obviously at some point here, more at the end, and people start feeling that some perspectives are obvious, but they are not, so they should really speak them out.
There should be many more characters who are different from the rest, for example, are queer or have disabilities or are not white and skinny or whatever.
What people were saying was a lot of the time we're just focusing on racism, trying to make people feel kind of pity and sorry for those people. And that's not how they always want and need to be represented. We also need the balance of appreciating their culture.
Hearing other people's opinion about it, other young people's opinion about it, that also made me feel so connected and like I belonged.
I'm also a feminist, and when I say I'm a feminist, you're always
So yeah, you think women are stronger than men, but like no, that's not the point of being a feminist. The point is like we are equal.
Like the women don't have to be mothers, housewives, or anything. Then why are they portrayed like this in most films? Just like my colleague Julia said, in the last breakout session we talked about feminism with a bunch of girls, and just like she said, she felt so empowered afterwards, and I did too, and that's the best feeling ever.
In terms of the media, just be more human-like and actually be media that tells us a story with no bias about it.
It makes you feel more accepted and also brings the idea into other kids' heads.
We believe as young people that it's really important to speak up about this, especially in the times we're currently living in.
Because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all have that conscious feeling of right and wrong. And even when you are racist or even when you are doing something wrong, you have that notion and you have that feeling that I know I'm doing something wrong. Even though it's my belief, I know there's a part of me that says I know I'm doing something wrong, but because I'm so stubborn and I don't want to say it, I'm gonna keep on doing it and just grow up, really.
Everyone should be treated equally. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. It's not about what color you are. It's about your personality. It's about who you are.
I believe we empowered the participants, but we also kind of empowered ourselves.
I think it really is important to speak up. When you encounter racism, never just let it pass and just walk away. You have to tell someone, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a parent, whether it's a friend.
We needed kind of assurance that people are listening to us, we're sending a good message across. A quote I really liked from Luca: if someone is old enough to experience racism, then other people around them are old enough as well to learn about it and hear about it, and I really, really liked that.
I'm hopeful that this summit at least puts forward a message to the media that we young people want change for the better.
I would like to thank everyone for joining here today.
Film Club!